Hey y'all, in today's video, we're going to talk about notebooking. First of all, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Kaela. I am a second generation homeschool mama to almost 4 girls. I'm currently homeschooling my older 2 daughters who are finishing up 4th grade and 1st grade respectively. My toddler, my little one, is along for the ride, and baby girl number 4 is due in just a few days. I love to chat all things homeschool, all things mama life, and I specifically share resources that are generally secular or faith neutral. So if any of that sounds like it's your jam, I hope you'll consider subscribing and sticking around with us. So I wanted to share with you guys about how we do notebooking in our homeschool. It's something I've gotten asked about quite a bit. I also regularly get asked what all the notebooks are that we use in our homeschool. Now, we are total fans of the SchoolNest notebooks. I absolutely love the SchoolNest notebooks. And so almost all of the notebooks that I'm going to be showing you in the video today are going to be from SchoolNest. I will link her website down below in the description box. If you don't know Megan from SchoolNest, she creates these really beautiful planning notebooks, grade level notebooks, notebooks for specific school subjects, notebooks for more of a Charlotte Mason approach. She has a wide variety of notebook products in her shop. I have been using her minimalist homeschool planning notebooks. This is the one that I have almost completed for this school year, for the 2023-2024 school year. I am completely in love with this planner, and I don't see myself using a different one. But I'm not going to show you my planner in this video. We're going to talk about the kids' notebooks. I do have a couple of videos showing you that planner, and I'll go ahead and put those down below and in the cards in case you are looking for a new homeschool planner. Megan did just release her new covers for 2024. All of her planners are undated, so you can use any design, any cover for any year. But she did just release a new collection. They are very pretty, as all of her notebooks are. And Arlene, a fellow YouTube mama, Instagram mama, homeschool mama that I adore, has been sharing the new collection of the homeschool planners. So if you're interested in looking at those, definitely go check out her video. I will put that down below. Okay, notebooking. Different families do it different ways. You can definitely have a notebook for each subject. You can have a language arts notebook and a science notebook. Or you could use one central notebook for all of your schoolwork. You could put tabs to divide your different subjects within your notebook. I've seen mamas really go all out in prepping their kiddos' notebooks in advance of the school year, where they have like all of the pages set up and ready to go. They already have worksheets or prompts glued or taped in advance, and they know like, okay, this week we're doing all of these pages. It's all prepped and ready to go. I am not that organized. I don't really like making a full-on commitment and doing a lot of prep work with our notebooking system. We have tried to sort of divide subjects before. It didn't really work out super well for us, and I'll explain why a little bit later. I do really prefer one notebook for as much as we can possibly fit in that one notebook. So I choose to use the grade level notebooks from SchoolNest. And that way it's just, everything for 3rd grade, everything for 1st grade, what have you. But I also want to put a disclaimer. You do not need the SchoolNest notebooks. You do not need a fancy notebook or a specific notebook to successfully use notebooking in your homeschool. You can literally buy a 50-cent notebook, whether you want something a little bit wider, whether you have a very young kiddo and you need those larger training lines for learning handwriting, if you want to have blank spaces for drawing, if you want to use a watercolor notebook. I've seen so many families who really mainly use a watercolor notebook, and we have off and on used watercoloring for notebooking as well. There's so many options. So don't feel limited or influenced in any way by the notebooks that I'm going to show you today. These are just our preference. I know that they are at a higher price point than just your average notebook, and they're definitely not necessary. So don't worry, you can use any old notebook, any price point that you would like, any design that you would like, any type of paper that you would like. And you can really be as simple or as fancy with it as you want to be. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you our collection of homeschool notebooks. I went ahead and pulled out our older ones as well as our current ones that we are finishing up for this year, so you can get a good idea of what this has looked like for us since we started doing it a few years ago. All right, y'all, I got a big old stack of notebooks here to show you guys. So these are all of our grade level notebooks that we have used so far. I have kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, and fourth grade. Now, these are not all from the same kiddo. These are the only two that my younger daughter has used. And then the second, third, and fourth are actually from my older daughter, just because this was the year that we started with these notebooks. So these are the grade level notebooks from SchoolNest. I also have a watercolor notebook, which I will show you in just a minute. And then these are some of the other options from SchoolNest that we have used. Her primary mathematics notebook, the reading journal, and the vocabulary notebook. So I will show you guys those as well. But first things first, these notebooks are looking pretty grungy and dirty. So let's give them a quick cleanup. These SchoolNest notebooks are printed by Amazon, and they do have this really nice velvety soft cover. And I find it so easy to clean this up with a damp cloth, or if you are a toddler baby mom, a baby wipe. Look at all of that came off already.
There's some heavy weight on your shoulders. The sparkle walk right out of your eyes. Some seasons of life might get colder, but I miss summer days and we laugh till we cry. Wear those freckles, your badge of honor. Go barefoot, you know you wanna. Darling, take a load off. You don't gotta show off.
All right, they're definitely not perfect. They're definitely going to have a little bit of a tattered, worn-in look because we use them. You can get a lot of the scuff marks and, you know, black handprints from dirty hands using them all the time. Those come off pretty easily with a damp cloth or wipe. Basically, the way, I'll just cover my daughter's name here. The way that we use these notebooks is almost like a portfolio. We start with them at the beginning of the year, and we just continue on with the same notebook for the entire year. In most of these, you're going to see that we did not make an effort to separate school subjects. So for example, we might have a drawing for summer solstice. We have a little written narration. We have an activity for history. We have a written narration for a novel that we were reading aloud. We have another activity here for science. It's kind of all mixed up, but just in the order that we are doing things. So it really becomes almost like a memory book for our homeschool. And a lot of these things I just glue in with a regular old Elmer's glue stick. We have in the past used a fancier, like double-sided tape roller. I really like those. However, because of how often we were using them, it does get quite pricey. They are on the more expensive side. So in most cases, we're just using glue. There were times where I wanted to kind of double up on a page. And so I will create my own flaps by just gluing the edge of the page and allowing the rest to be able to fold up.
Let your hair down, set it free. Give yourself a chance to breathe. Take a load off. You've been going non-stop. And nobody else.
I do give my kids a lot of say in what they want to keep in their notebook. There are certain things that I require that they put in their notebook, But things like math worksheets and handwriting worksheets, if they feel really, really proud of their work and they're like, I love the way this page turned out, I really want to put it in my notebook, that's totally fine. We can do that. Now this is kindergarten, so a lot of this handwriting that you see is actually mine because my daughter was giving me a oral verbal narration and I was writing it down for her. That's definitely something that I do to sort of meet my kids where they are, especially in early elementary, kindergarten, first grade. And then you'll start to see that some of the handwriting becomes hers later on in the year.
Ain't nobody else you need to be. Let's go wild, you and me. Cancel all the plans in your schedule. There's nowhere that you need to be. Sometimes letting loose is essential. Windows down, music up, let the wind kiss your cheek.
So let's take a look at first grade. This is actually the notebook that my younger daughter is using right now and finishing that up. This is something new that we did this past school year, and I'm going to be doing it every year from now on. In the beginning of the notebook, we have a first day of school printable. That makes just a really nice little memory to have. And then we just started right in. And again, I did not prep this. I did not divide it by subject or anything like that. We started using Bookshark Science this year, so we have a lot of science activity sheets.
Let it go, you know you wanna. Darling, take a load off. You don't gotta show off. You can let your hair down, set it free. Give yourself a chance to breathe. Take a load off. You've been going non-stop.
When we were learning about the periodic table, they picked an element to do a drawing of and make into like a superhero. And as you can see, like, we're definitely a worksheet family. We use a lot of worksheets, a lot of workbooks, a lot of printables, but that shouldn't make you shy away from notebooking because you can just put them right in your notebook. And of course, this will make the notebook nice and fat. This is a notebook that doesn't have anything taped in it, to give you kind of an idea of how fat it can get when you're adding, additional paper that's taped or glued inside. However, I don't think it's an issue. Like, it's not as flat, obviously. It's not going to lay perfectly flat, but these books have been able to hold up to it. They've been able to hold up to all the additional pages just fine. And I just really like the finished product of having everything, or almost everything, in one spot. Okay, so second grade. This is my older daughter's second grade notebook, and this is by far the most beat up and abused notebook that we have. It has water damage from spilling some water on it, so you'll see that. But still, even with all of the damage and wear and tear, it is holding up really, really well. This is going to be a super similar setup to the kindergarten and the first grade notebook, where you have dot grid on one side, and then you have a primary level writing page on the other side that has your training guidelines, and then an open space at the top for drawing, coloring, what have you.
Going non-stop. Ain't nobody else you need to be. Let's go wild, you and me. Let's go wild, you and me.
I definitely encourage my kids to have fun in their notebooks. They are allowed to use washi tape. They are allowed to use stickers. They're allowed to doodle. I want them to be excited about their schoolwork as much as possible. Obviously, not everything is going to be fun and games. Not everything they're going to enjoy. But if we can add a little bit of joy with, some washi tape, some stickers, then we definitely will do that. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but these SchoolNest notebooks have 200 pages. which I have never felt limited by. To me, that has always been more than enough. As my daughter got a little bit older, towards the end of 2nd grade into 3rd grade, she did start doing some of her writing or her written narrations on the computer. And, you know, we would just print those out and put them right in the notebook. She does have some book report printables in here as well. These are actually pages that I designed myself on Canva. And we're not using those anymore because now we have an actual book report notebook. But they were great for while we used them. They're a nice little introduction into book reports. Darling, 3rd grade coming up. This one is very full, very fat. One of the things that my kids really enjoy each year is being able to pick the color for their school notebook. They get very excited about it. SchoolNest offers an entire rainbow range of colors, which is so fun. So this notebook was actually the first notebook where I made an attempt to divide up subjects. The first and the last attempt that I made at that. So I used washi tape to sort of mark where my sections were, and I kind of guesstimated like how many pages I thought I would need for history, for, I think this is science, and then this section up front was for literature and language arts. Lots of these sentence activities are from Lit House Learning. Some of this is from Blossom and Root. We have typed narrations. We have some writing prompts that I listed for her. More typing. More sentence activities from Lit House Learning. These are pages from her spelling workbook. These were some writing prompts that were actually from a workbook. Then I put her all about reading certificates. And then this second washi tape section was for science. So this is another way that you can do it. You can definitely, you know, put tabs or put washi tape, color code for different subjects. The reason that I didn't love doing this is because I did not guesstimate very well, as you can see, how many pages we would need for each subject. So we ended up with a lot of blanks in the middle because we didn't need them for science after all. If you are much better at planning out all of the work for each particular subject, this might not be an issue for you, but it was an issue for me. And so that's why we didn't even attempt to do it again for this past school year for 4th grade. This last section was for history. You don't gotta show off. You can let your hair down, set it free. Give yourself a chance to breathe. Darling, take a load off. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention is you will notice a difference in SchoolNest. Once you get to 3rd grade, the pages change. So we no longer have the primary level writing page that we saw in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade, where it has the blank space at the top and the training writing lines. Now we have more of like a slightly larger than college rule lined page that's fully lined with no room for an illustration at the top. Now, if we wanted to add an illustration to the top, that was no problem. We could just, you know, tape or glue one over those lines and do our writing underneath. Okay, so 4th grade. This is actually the notebook that my older daughter is wrapping up right now for this school year. And again, you will see it is quite chunky. We've added quite a lot. Again, we started the year with a little get to know me printable. I think this particular one is from Dash Into Learning. You don't gotta show off. You can let your hair down, set it free. Give yourself. So we went back to not splitting things up by school subject. So we have everything kind of lumped together haphazardly, just in the order that we did it, whether that be for history or for literature or for science. Chance to breathe. Darling, take a load off. You don't gotta show off. You can let your hair down, set it free. So those are sort of our main school notebooks. That is how we do notebooking for the main part in our homeschool with these grade level notebooks from SchoolNest. Now I am going to show you one other system that we have experimented with, and that is with watercolor notebooks. I really like this brand of watercolor notebook, and I also really like this size, especially for younger kids. I'm going to link this below. It is from Amazon. We did try to do some of our printables in the watercolor notebook as well, because I really liked the idea of keeping everything in one central place. But obviously that's a waste of this wonderful watercolor notebook to, you know, tape and glue things over it, which is part of the reason why we decided to go with the SchoolNest notebook instead. If your family doesn't use a lot of printables and worksheets in your homeschool, then I think that using the watercolor notebook as your main notebooking method could really work for you. If you just want your child to do some art and a written narration to go along with it, then that is really lovely, and these notebooks are beautiful for that. Okay, so now I want to show you some of these other notebooks that we have purchased and used from SchoolNest. These are going to have more of a specific purpose rather than a general purpose that you can customize and use however you want. For mathematics, this is going to be the primary one. For younger kids, elementary age, this is going to be 3/4 inch graph paper. When you first open it up, she does have some sort of like titled anchor pages up at the front. You could use this page to make like a table of contents for your notebook, all of the different math topics that you are covering. She has a number bonds page, 10 frames page. Those really come in handy. You can use these over and over again with manipulatives. You can put a page protector over this if you want to write on it over and over again. We've done both. She also included a hundreds chart. This is a printable that my daughter made and put in here so that she could have that as a reference point. This is a different style of hundreds chart. And then I have more anchor charts that my daughter either made on Canva or printed. These are like some measurement conversions. Another measurement conversion chart that we printed. This was already in here, the multiplication chart. And then you just go into your plain grid paper and you have lots and lots of pages of that. This is a notebook that we started using, I want to say in 2nd grade, and my daughter's finishing up 4th grade and she hasn't even used half of this, but we do enjoy having it. We use Singapore Dimensions as our math program, and that does come with consumable workbook pages, worksheets that my daughter uses. So most of her math work is done on those pages. However, she really likes having this notebook for additional mathematical activities. Sometimes she will transfer workbook problems from her worksheets into here because she would just rather do them in here. I always give her that option. She also just likes having a place to tape or glue a variety of her reference charts and printables. She likes using this 3/4 inch graph paper for larger graphs. One really cool activity that we did in this notebook was we actually mapped out the square footage and the layout of my daughter's shared bedroom. And then we created these little cutouts for furniture based on the square footage that they take up in the room. And then, you know, played around with furniture arrangements to see how we wanted the bedroom to go. Is this notebook completely necessary and a must-have? Probably not. Especially because we do use a math program with worksheets built in, but we have really enjoyed using it. I'm sure my daughter will continue to fill this up. And then once this is full, if she wants to purchase a new one and move into the smaller graph paper for older kiddos, I will happily get that for her. The reading journal is something new that we started in 4th grade, so the beginning of this past school year. She was really excited that she found this sticker that matched the color scheme of the notebook perfectly. And it's a Hamilton themed sticker, so, you know, we're big Hamilton fans. There's a nice little quote here in the front. There's some index pages where you can list your page number and the book that's on that page number. We obviously haven't done that yet, but it's nice to have the option. There's these reading goal pages that you could really customize and use however you want. Finished book stacks where you can write book titles or, you know, do some art, some coloring. There's a couple of those. Book wish list pages. Library books pages. And then there is a reading tracker, which we started and didn't get very far with. As you can see, we started this in August of 2023. None of this has really been filled out since then, but that's okay. 100 books tracker. And then we have a second yearly reading tracker here. So this is designed to last at least 2 years. A book bingo page. And then we go right into the book review pages. So let me show you what those look like blank. It's a 2-page spread for each book review. You have a section for the title, the author, the date, a rating, how many stars out of 5, summary, your thoughts, any questions that you had about what you read, quotes that you liked, and an illustration. And that page format just repeats itself over the entire rest of the notebook. So here is one that my daughter has already filled out. She has done a few in here. And yeah, we have really liked this. We definitely have a lot more to do in this notebook, and we will be keeping it in our lineup. The vocabulary notebook is something else that we started for 4th grade. So in 2023. And again, we are not anywhere near finishing it. That's okay. We'll just keep using it until it's full. When you first open it up, Megan, the SchoolNest notebook designer, has included some really great suggestions here for how to explore vocabulary, how to use this notebook, and even some websites. We have some word list pages here where you could include a page number, so kind of like a little index. And then we go into our blank word pages. So let me show you what those look like. Now, this is a notebook that I actually have prepped. So I have words picked out for quite a ways through. And I got these words off of lists from Core Knowledge and also just lists online. If you Google like words that every 4th grader should know or words that every 5th grader should know, you can generally find some pretty good lists, and I pulled from those. So all of our words are numbered 1 through 100. So there are 100 spots in this book. It gives you a place to write the word, the definition, explain what the word means in your own words, draw the word, a place where you can check how many times you've reviewed this word, use it in a sentence, copy work that includes the word, and then there's this word study section. So you can break the word into prefix, root, suffix. You can list synonyms and antonyms, examples and non-examples, and there's plenty of space for extra writing. If there's any other categories you want to add, you can definitely customize this. So here's an example of one that my daughter already did. She did monotheistic, so she wrote the definition. Sometimes she gets a little cheeky with her writing. She did a picture. She broke the word down into prefix and root, and she wrote an antonym. You definitely don't need to fill out every single box for every single word, but you have the option. And I do have lots of words in here prepped for her, ready to go. I try to have her touch this notebook once a week. We have been a little bit lazy about it lately, So we haven't gotten as far as I would have liked, but that's okay. We can keep coming back to this. We have a great children's dictionary on hand. I also give her the option to Google words with supervision. So that is how she is looking up the word. And then you can also Google etymology of whatever word, etymology of perspective, and it will help to let her break that down even more. So that's kind of the method that we're using. She's just looking up the words and then filling in these pages as we go. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them below. If you are also a notebooking family, I would love to hear how you guys do notebooking in your homeschool. If you have any great tips or tricks that you want to share with the community, be sure and put those in the comments as well. And if you're extra proud of your notebooks and how you've organized them and you want to show me some photos, I would love that too. I love seeing notebooking ideas. So if you can't drop them in the comments here, you can always DM me on Instagram. I'm very active over there and always ready to chat with y'all. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye for now.